this is Great White Run of Kutch, particularly this patch of white desert, which is extremely close to the Indo-Pak border, which is about 14-15 kilometers from here. The BSF has not only to man and maintain this position and seal this border from the cross-border traffic, but also has to keep a hawk eye on the entire Western Theatre. The Western theatre of war games of our country is power-packed with glorious stories of military heroes. So important is India's western line of defense that almost every square inch of it is guarded non-stop. Except the highest live battleground in the world, the Siachen Glacier Zone in the Jammu and Kashmir, and the deadly Sar Creek region in the mysterious Run of Kutch in Gujarat, the entire stretch of Western theatre is all wired up and running hot with high voltage, literally speaking. The border here is electrified. The enemy knows it. And these men in olives and camouflage guard it as a matter of pride 24/7 without bashing an eyelid. In this very special episode of National Security Series, we take a rare and closer look into the Border Security Forces deployment in the Run of Kutch. For the first time ever, cameras inside those areas that have never been seen by the outside world. Inaccessible and remote, BSF guarding this mysterious land where landscape changes with each passing hour. From the safe zone to the death trap, it happens without warning, almost within minutes. Only a BSF soldier knows how to be the first line of defense of his motherland while conquering two enemies at a time. The enemy of the state alongside the inhospitable nature of the Run of Kutch in Gujarat. This patrol party has just moved across the fortified fence and began inspecting these white pillars. These white pillars indicate the actual position on the ground where ownership of Indian soil ends and the enemy or our counterpart in this part of the land, that is Pakistan's boundary, begins. This is how actually each verification of each pillar along the inter-park border is done. A small section of BSF soldiers in full battle regalia have to personally go and check the verification of pillar along the border. We are right now at the Great Run of Kutch adjoining Pakistan border. Not only during the daytime, this tense borderline is also well guarded during the dead of the night. These BSF men are all over the place. The degree of difficulty in guarding this extreme climate requires special skills by the BSF, tailored and suitable to this unique climate. That includes living away from families for some duration. Living conditions in these newly erected composite observation posts along the fenced borderline has raised standard of living in garrison quarters.
मुश्किलात आती हैं अपने ऑप्स ड्यूटी करने में। यहाँ ये जो तूफ़ानी हवाएं चलती हैं, रेतीले तूफ़ान, साल्टी वेव्स जो हैं, ये मतलब विजिबिलिटी बिल्कुल मैं आपको देखने दे कि आपको आँखों से देखने परेशानी आएगी। ये इवन कि आप देखेंगे ये पूरा इतना धुल साल्टी विंड से इतना डस्ट आता है कि ये पूरा ड्यून्स भी बन जाता है कभी कभी ओपी के आगे।
During the 1965 war with Pakistan, Vigakot in Run of Kutch had seen a nasty bloodbath. Many brave border guards took enemy bullets right into their hearts. Guarding border at the Run of Kutch has always been a challenging task. The area is marshy, no trees, no grasslands. It's inhospitable, bone dry. From May to October, the Run of Kutch is flooded with salty water from the turbulent Arabian Sea. And when the monsoon recedes or when the sea goes back into its depths, all what is left is a solid crust of salt at the top of a slippery smooth mud. The run does not stay still for long. It keeps changing its colors. It's not only different through the day, but drastically alters its landscape with changing seasons. That is why it is known as the mysterious Run of Kutch. Landscape is serene during the dawn and the dusk. But as the sun goes up and rises during the day, mirage effect is spellbinding. Have a look at these BSF troopers on patrol. The same spot 4 months apart. From the muddy slushy to the greatest natural wonders of the world, the Great White Run, the White Desert. Both ways for the BSF, it is extremely difficult to keep a watch on the run. With white or without white layer of hard salt, cross-border movement of suspected terrorists and informers are on their target. It's white all over the place. You get disoriented. Loss of sense of direction is very common in this vast expanse of wilderness. top leadership in the force keeps a close watch on the troop deployment at this sensitive quadrant along the Western Front.
Geographical climatic conditions, all people are doing it. One has to really feel the level of difficulties himself to have a clear appreciation, clear perception about the kind of challenges that are faced by our troops. Here the problem is of logistics. The area, first of all, it is so far off from the real land mass where from this communication facilities are there. The road network is extremely meager, and providing the logistics to the troops which are deployed in the forward locations, also in the floating BOPs. You'll have to understand that because of the very adverse geographical situation, people have to be rotated quite frequently.
Rightly said, sense of loneliness is acute in this part of land. Border posts of the BSF are located in remote corners of the Run of Kutch. Not only far from habitation, but they are located right inside the tension-packed part of Western Theatre.
Gujarat problem, the Run of Kutch, because of run, here the challenges are immense because of the salinity in the air, because of no vegetation around where we are deployed, there is no population, no habitation. All these factors make the living conditions very difficult, and if living conditions are difficult, so is the condition for the performance of duty, depending upon the challenges that is posed by the location, by the situation, by the adversaries. So many factors, the same person who has to counter and adjust and live with all the challenges. And yet, as I said, that is because of the training and the morale and the professionalism, the motivation that our troops, the officers, they are able to motivate. The very fact that the officers stay and work in the same condition as the Jawans, this by itself is a very motivating factor.
The highest point in the entire Kutch is this mountain top of the Kala Dungar, or the Black Hill. One portion of this hill is famously known by its area of strong magnetic field strength. So strong is the magnetic field that even a loaded SUV will climb back to the hill on its own. The paramilitary forces dominate this part of Run of Kutch, which is on a high ground, as compared to the rest of the island of Kutch. On the other side of the fence, it's the Naga Parkar hillock in the Sindh, Pakistan, the only Hindu-dominated area inside the enemy territory. Run of Kutch practically ends along the international boundary with Pakistan. BSF soldiers take special care with respect to salty and very cool air current during the night that is present at this dry location. Each of the composite BOPs is well stocked. They know very well that these troopers are in the direct line of fire from their counterpart, and they are also the first respondents to the enemy's misadventure. We take a short break, and when we come back, for the first time ever and only on Rajya Sabha television, exclusive coverage of the Sar Creek area with the BSF. welcome back from the break. We are now slowly entering into the interior-most parts of the Sir Creek area, the westernmost point of India, the most controversial along the Indo-Pak border. The degree of difficulty for manning this part is immense for BSF. We were told that this is perhaps for the first time ever that shots have been recorded inside this tricky Sir Creek area. These water channels are dicey. One wrong turn and you are grounded. These are very rare shots of the resting place of Sufi saint at Salwa Peer. Located at an extremely classified place inside the Sir Creek zone, BSF has deployed one of their sharpest shooters at this location. Tension here is palpable. The nearest help, which is actually quite far, is the westernmost tip of India, the Shiv temple of Koteshwar. In simple terms, what Kanyakumari is to the south, Koteshwar is west point west of India. In order to seal all possible escape routes of terrorists in this area, Border Security Force has deployed their very special floating small ships. These floating BOPs, or their border observation posts, are placed at strategic locations inside the creek area. These creek channels pose unique problems for the forces. At one particular location, which is infamously known by its unparliamentary expression, the Nala, Pakistan keeps pushing their terror modules through this water channel into India, thinking that they can sneak past BSF patrols. But these watchful eyes are sharp.
यहाँ हम 24 घंटे ड्यूटी करते हैं, या यहाँ का क्या मगर ड्यूटी छोड़ के आगे पेट्रोलिंग फुट पेट्रोलिंग ये दोनों करते हैं। इन जगह का पूरा हम निगरानी रखते हैं सर।
Recently, Border Security Force got these state-of-art all-terrain amphibious vehicles. They can move and deploy troops at greater speed than ever before. One big edge over the enemy lines. This pillar is strategic. It is actually the very last point along the agreed portion of the international border between India and Pakistan. From here begins a new border line known as the G-pillar line. G-pillar line is disputed by Pakistan. They do not recognize this, but India does so. The pillars as along the international boundary, which begins from somewhere in the Jammu Kashmir region, around 1900 kilometers up in the north, that line ends here, in the Rana of Kutch, pillar number 1175, and from here the pillars of the international boundary of a different kind starts, the G-pillar line as it is known as. These G-pillars are named after some Captain Griffith, a local surveyor from the British times, who laid 46 such temporary pillars from here up to the end portion of Sir Creek zone. Another misconception. Sir Creek is not named after any Britisher. In local Sindhi language, Sir means Sajha, or something or some place which is jointly owned. This water channel had a joint ownership on both sides. That is Sir Creek, or now, over the years, pronounced as Sir Creek. Just how much the landscape of Gulf of Kutch has drastically changed could be gauged by just one look at the fabled fort of Kot Lakhpat. This wall of Kot Lakhpat was the main gateway to the earlier course of the main delta of River Indus. That delta of Indus River has now moved towards Karachi in Pakistan, leaving behind the Rana of Kutch for the Border Security Force. Now we come to that part of Rana of Kutch that has never been seen by the outside world. The visiting Rajya Sabha television crew recorded the first ever evidence of abandoned and deserted the world famous Flamingo City. Here lies this Flamingo City, the largest breeding nest of transcontinental Siberian flamingos. Here is the first evidence ever recorded at the Flamingo City, nature's fury. With no rains in the past many years, these flamingo eggs are 4 years old. Total destruction. This area is usually submerged under 3 feet of Arabian Sea water. Now when it is bone dry, it poses a threat with regard to cross-border gun running. It took us 3 hours of brisk walking on hard crust of salt to reach this Flamingo City. An absolute virgin territory that had no footprints, tire marks that only go short distance and then all stop. There is no life here. It is in own reality the India's very own Death Valley in the Rana of Kutch. But for the BSF, they go where others do not dare. This has been a very special episode about the Border Security Forces deployment along the Indo-Pak line, a border line that is secure, speaks volumes about the grit and determination of the BSF. With my cameraman colleagues Dushmanta and MS Suresh, this is Vineet Dikshit for the National Security Series.